What's going on, guys? Some more 2A content. I have decided to change my optics plate that I have on my 45 MOS to the Calculated Kinetics one. When I first got this, I briefly had it on the Glock MOS plate, which I was going to replace as soon as I could. I actually tried a CNH plate. That was okay, but I had a couple of nitpicks with that. I made a video about it. I moved over. This is currently the forward controls, and this has been the tightest tolerances I've had out of all the plates. I haven't used them all, but this is the tightest one I've used so far, and I've only heard good things about it. And so far, it's been rock solid. It has not shifted. I have not had to retighten anything as long as I do it properly. But I am going to move over to the Calculated Kinetics. This is the Dogtag one for the MOS to RMR footprint. I have had a previous experience with the Calculated Kinetics before on my 43X, and that was rock solid, and their customer service and their social media presence has been really awesome. The reason I'm changing it out, main thing honestly, and I wish it wasn't the case, I'm getting rust on the plate itself. It says 4140 steel. I think there's some finish issues, and those little areas that's not covered. I'm not a scientist or whatever you call them. I'm not sure why that's causing it. I'm guessing that's what it is. And I don't want to keep having to take it off every once in a while to clean out the rust because I don't want it to spread. First time I cleaned it out, I did oil the plate, but that seemed to mitigate a little bit, but I still was getting rust because when I took it off, it was still there. So that's 4140 steel, so just be aware that maybe you don't have that experience. Some people don't have rust issues with their sweat because I carry this a lot. I sweat all around here. My sweat guard is not full height. I'd rather have the lower one, but it does involve it getting sweat here. This one is made of aluminum. It does have a deflection shield, which will go in front of the optics plate, which helps it from a lot of the gases, going in there. And it is a little taller, which means more thread engagement for the optic, but it will raise my sight a little taller. Now, I don't generally care about the height of it. What I'm more worried about is the co-witness with my irons, so I may have some issues with that, but I can deal with. But they've been awesome. As far as what came with it, this was inside of this plate here. It came in this box. I've got a little invoice. I've got a little optics, free optics plate offer. Basically, if you buy an optics red dot from Calculated Kinetics and also add a plate with them, you actually get that for free. Definitely check them out, and also got a little sticker in here. But first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take off the old one, kind of look at it. This will be my first view of it since last time I cleaned it out, so you'll be kind of catching that with me. So I will be getting my Torx. I think this is 10. Yeah, no, it's 9. So like I said, I've witness marked all my screws, and they have not shifted. You guys can see that. I really hate to do that, though, by the way. I'll go ahead and take that off, by the way. That'd be a smart idea. Yeah, take it off, guys. But I have nothing bad to say about forward controls. The tolerances that they advertised were exactly like they said. You'd almost have to kind of squeeze it in there. The plate itself, when it's on, the slide does not move at all. It is a little bit more room on the Holosun because they really cut it for the RMR. They don't really fully, officially support the Holosun stuff on there, but it is RMR compatible. But the good thing with I've only used Vibratite on these, and luckily that's been great. So you see the old Vibratite on there. That's the right screw. Now I will be using a Torx driver once I actually put it in, just to torque it the spec, but for right now I'm just using my little stubby driver. Alright, so you're going to be looking at the slide with me, and you notice that I've got some spots there. I've got some spots for the laser engraving where the letters are. This area is kind of getting rusty too, and then we'll take this off as well. And this has just been an kind of an ongoing thing that I've had to deal with. I just decided that I don't want to deal with that anymore. And I did oil this every time I've cleaned it out. can see some of it is getting on the slide, but I don't think the slide's getting anything. I'll probably clean that off. But what I've noticed is where some of this finishes is rough. Let me get a paper towel, wipe that off. See the finish on there is a little rough. That's causing it to, I guess, maybe be exposed and get rusty. That's just my hypothesis. I obviously don't know. But yeah. But as far as, like I said, the tolerances, you gotta squeeze that in there. And it does, there's a little bit of jiggle, but it does not move. The MOS plate I got rid of because of just tolerances and strength. C&H was good, but I've had some horror stories and it was a little wobbly. I just didn't want to take the risk of this flying off because this is my main self-defense tool and home defense tool. I don't have a lot of other firearms. But I'm going to clean this off and we'll get started with the C&H. All right, I did wipe that off with the brush. Like I said, the rust luckily isn't getting on the slide. It's mostly on the this, which is made of 4140 steel, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the coating's fine on there, but like I said, there's some rough spots here and on the lettering that I'm seeing that issue occur every time. It's always the same spots where the rust starts to occur, even if I cleaned it off. Maybe I didn't clean it off enough, who knows? It's just not something I want to maintain constantly like that. Maybe if there was a better way, I'd know. I did email them and you know, they spoke about it. They said there's a chance it happens, which is fine. I believe this is probably the superior material. It is heavier. But like I said, you do have a chance of rust, you know, with tool steel. But as far as the strength, I would say that's probably the best one. Let's see how this fits on there. Yeah, that's pretty tight as well. There's a little bit of wiggle, maybe a tiny bit more. Maybe not at all. I mean, this one, as soon as you get it in the wrist, it's not really moving at all. Like I said, you have that deflection on there. Now, I'm kind of curious if I'm still going to be able to coat witness at all with my iron sights. Just barely. It might be like a 1/10 coat witness. Yeah, it's barely above height, so I'll probably end up getting new irons here shortly. But what's cool about this is you can use this to rack off the slide if you need to do one-handed manipulations. Or also, some guns have a lot of gas coming back, blowing it onto the optic. I haven't had too much of an issue. I know like the MMP have a little loaded indicator port right in the middle where it does that a lot for them. But that seems to be good. I need to wipe off my thing. Now, as far as what you get with the Calculated Kinetics, now I have opened this, but I kind of packed it back up just to kind of show you what you get in the package. So this will be inside the mailing box, or at least that's how I got it. You'll get the plate out. That'll be on top, and behind it is a black baggie. They will give you a thing of Vibratite, which is awesome. I've applied it once. It does get kind of messy if you're not careful with it, but it does work. You get 2 bags for screws. One is for Holosun stuff, and one is for RMR stuff. You also get in the bag the screws to mount the plate to the slide, and a Torx driver if you need it. This is a T10. I've got plenty of them, but it's always nice to have an extra. And on here is just instruction. It'll tell you the blue bag is for Holosun optics, the red bag is for Trijicon optics, and I'll tell you why you need different ones. But it also gives you the Torx specs. Definitely have one of these on there. This is a fat wrench. This is one of the more economical ones, but I haven't had any issues using this, and you can kind of set the gauge on there. It's kind of clunky, but it works. Also, this one tells you 15 inch-pounds. The reason they have different screws for each one is, number one, the length, but number two, they are countersunk differently. For example, I think Trijicon stuff is like when the screw hits here and then it kind of bevels down. That angle is like a 90 degrees. And that's how this circle right here is kind of drilled in on the Trijicon. On the Holosuns, from what I understand, they're at an 82 degrees, so a little bit more narrow. So you may have some fitment issues and some you know, thread engagement issues if you use the wrong type of screw on there. So it's important you guys get the right screw. But luckily, CK Calculated Kinetics sends all the stuff you need. They have instructions. I mean, all you really need to provide is your wrench to tighten it down. I'm going to clean all this stuff off and put that on there now. Alright guys, I've cleaned off this surface best I could with some isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips. The old witness marks are still there, but I'm probably going to put them in the same spot, so not a big deal. I'm going to just put this away. I've got a open thing of Vibratite already. This can get messy. Let's go ahead and what we want to do is you want to apply the Vibratite first onto your screws. That way they kind of have some time to cure. Because you want it kind of in a rubbery consistency, but that helps it stay in place. So these are the 2 screws for the Holosun sights, and what I was talking about is the way the angle from head to the threading part, it's different than Trijicon. So Trijicon has and most other ones I think have 90 degrees. From what I understand, Holosun uses 82 degrees. So if you use a 90-degree one, it may not sit all the way down. It would kind of pop up because it's not matching the way that's cut out there, if that makes sense. So this is for sight to plate, and this is going to be for plate to slide. So you notice the difference in length. So I'm usually not the best at this, but I will do it in front of the camera. And like I said, it gets pretty gooey. Get it on there. Like I said, it's sticky, guys. I've made a pretty big mess out of it before. You want to let that sit on the screws to let it kind of harden up. Oops. Like I said, I suck at this. There, and then the last one. There we go. That should be good. But I always make a mess. I'm just not that. I'm sure some other tools would help. There we go. I'm gonna go and put the torque screw there. Right now, I've been told to store this at 0, and then when you wanna use it, you wanna adjust it back. So. Oh, you gotta pull it up. And there's a little line that'll appear. There are some better ones, more expensive ones, but I have not had any issues. That's at 15 inch-pounds right there, so I'll be using that. As far as dry fitment goes, I was kind of expecting some slop from the Calculated Kinetics plate, but honestly, there's less than I had on the forward controls. I do have a bit of a gap from the deflection plate to the front, but it is engaging those recoil lugs, and then you'll have the 2 screws with the proper engagement and the height of the plate. It should be fine as long as it's all torqued down correctly. Let me make sure I'm wiping off everything again. Getting some rubbing alcohol. I believe acetone works pretty well too, but just want to make sure any oils are not on there. And then I'll probably re-oil my slide afterwards, but I'm not as worried with rust because this is made of aluminum. Another material that would be good is titanium. Some good ones I've seen online are from, I forget, it's about $100 for their titanium ones. There are some on Amazon that are pretty cheap, but honestly, I'd rather, like, Forward Controls is US based and made. Calculated Kinetics, also US based and made. 7011 or something like that is the other company that does titanium. The other one I'm talking about is DPP. I'm pretty sure that's all made in China. I don't have things against Chinese companies, but I'd rather pick a quality US based company before I buy anything from them. No offense. That is completely up to you guys. You buy where you want to. Alright, got that set. So we're going to be using these screws here. Should have enough time for the Vibratite to get good. So this has been set to 15. I'm not going to torque it down all the way yet until both of them are on there. Make sure it's threaded correctly. Alright, so those are tight. And then once it's good to go, you'll hear it click, because it'll stop turning at that torque speed that you set it on. You'll hear it click on there. So that's good to go. And then now it's time for the, another thing I would suggest, getting a paint marker, just drawing a little witness mark in case you have to ever take it. You can see if the screws have been taken off or not. These are, you can buy these at Arts and Crafts, Amazon, probably at Walmart, stuff like that. All right, next we have our Holosun. I'm using the, I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is the 508T. My buddy Patrick Doyle sold this to me at an amazing price. Thanks, Patrick. You guys make sure you guys follow him and check him out at Doyle Knives on Instagram. Amazing knife maker. Not many knife makers like him left. Everyone does CNC machining, which isn't bad. I have nothing against it, but it takes another level of skill to make the stuff he does all by hand. What I do suggest is kind of pushing up on the sight. Yeah, you get a lot more thread engagement just because of the height of the plate. Now, some people don't like that. I mean, this is America, so you guys are free to buy and use whatever you want. But I don't mind the height. It does mean I get a lot more thread engagement from the threads attaching my slide to the adapter. All right, that's it. You guys can see it. Obviously, it's not focusing on there, but I promise you the dot is there, and I still have a bit of a coat witness. I can see my front sight just a little bit. I can't see my full tritium outline. I honestly, next time if I do have to replace it, I'm just gonna get blacked out sights. One thing you want to do is you want to let this sit for 24 hours to let that all stick in, and I'm going to do another witness mark on these. So I know if those move at all. Those are probably the more important ones. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. This one was a lot more tight than I expected it to be. I don't remember how it was on my 43X and my plate there. But yeah, sorry for my bad camera angle, guys. I've been looking down at this stuff rather than at the camera. And I know it's not the best, but I thought I would just kind of, while I switched them out, kind of make a record me doing it, the reasons why I did it, and you know, just kind of give you some tips and hints on how to install and how to choose, and kind of give you another perspective on me and how I chose that. But anyway, y'all have a good one.